give it a minute to see if it's actually working.
All right, let's get it on.
All right, welcome back, guys. Sorry about that. Ooh, middle lane right there. Actually, Polywog was going for a gank attempt, but it looks like he is level 6. Wanted to try to war trap, but not able to hit it. Anyways, we are back now. I do apologize for that. Let's just say we still thought we were at DreamHack. We still thought we were in Sweden, but we are not. So as far as our the server we were trying to stream to, it may not have been the appropriate one, but hopefully things should be good now. Again, do apologize for that that hiccup, or not even hiccup, but more of the slideshow cast that was being brought to you. But I believe we got the issue figured out, and things should at least be a lot smoother now. So we are back, though. So anyways, kind of a quick recap. Obviously, it's 4-0 in favor of VOTE here over Trademark Esports. This top lane especially has just been very, very aggressive in favor of VOTE. When you got into Luna Magnus, one of the better lanes in the game right now, honestly, and you even throw a pseudo tri-lane with an aggressive Ophelia on top of that, the top lane just hasn't been having a great time. So VOTE has definitely been capitalizing on that. And then, of course, even Skies when we were in the middle lane, he got a bloodlust, or not a bloodlust, but he got a kill set up with him coming out from Z-Freak playing that Ophelia, who's actually been involved in all 4 kills, as you can see. So there you go. Kind of a quick recap. Basically, VOTE definitely in a good start here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even just this, like I said, this Magnus to Luna, even if they don't want to, get a for sure kill onto Dark Lady, they can still harass them down. Even if they just stun and then nuke from the Luna, and basically Dark Lady's at half HP right now. If they do that again, she's dead. So it's a very volatile lane up here. And the beauty about this is, I mean, they had Ophelia helping them out, but they don't even need it. Like, this lane comp is just so strong. Actually, in the meantime, Keizu actually takes out Zai. Must have got a lucky entangle or something, but as Zai says, decent. But yeah, short lane Wild Soul doing work. And, to be fair, Wild Soul does have an advantage right there with the bear. You get an entangle off. Not only does it just keep you in place, but it actually does a lot of damage.
Yeah, actually, I literally just went off of it as soon as the entangle came out, I'm guessing. And, of course, as we saw in the text, at least, Bubbles actually gets taken out right there. So, and I'm guessing by his reaction, yeah, it was just simply a lucky entangle. But that's how the hero works. I mean, you got to value that when judging your hero like this in Wild Soul. Of course, speaking of Zai, I mean, he knows plenty of that himself.
Yeah,
he plays a good old Wild Soul, so I'm sure he's gotten many of lucky entangles himself. But yeah, that's huge. I mean, again, a 5-0 Eurocall start. It's a 3,400 gold lead, 1,700 experience lead, already in favor of Gary Johnson 2012. So only 8.5 minutes into this game, all across the board. I mean, I think you can safely say every single lane is actually winning right now for Gary Johnson here.
They really are, and they have a jungler who is not really farming as much as Tempest, but having a much greater impact. Actually, if you look, he's only got 18 CS, so Z-Freak going the complete ganking style.
Yeah.
Has a Vulture Lord right now, unfortunately, not really be able to do much with that, but looks like he's just going to push right now.
Yeah. Tempest actually porting here to the top lane, though. He is level 6, as you can see. He has Steam Boots and, of course, that Amulet of Exile. So, my notes here in Tempest. Maybe try to get position, but he did run right past Ward of Sight, so he's just going to continue to farm for the meantime. And actually, Magnus and Aluna may try to catch him off guard, so Tempest isn't careful right here. There goes Magnus done again. The Aluna pulp on top of the Eruption. There's the Eruption going off. He will get the hole up, but it's not going to matter. Down goes Tempest. Can engineer Dark Lady, maybe get some revenge here. Aluna's going to start to take a lot of damage, and Cinder, I believe, will fall. There we go. 275 bonus gold actually coming out for Dark Lady right there as a result of that streak stop, so that's good for her. It ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange. So what do you think about that Tempest ultimate? Do you think that was worth it?
No, not really. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world because it is very early on, but getting magged all this farm is not what you want. Like I talk all the time about having your initiators get the priority, like Pebbles, like Meraxis, like Magnus. So Dark Lady, like I said all the time, as a hard carry, she's going to find her farm eventually. So getting the farm early on in Magnus, actually a huge bottom push right here as a Polywog Ward's trapped onto Ophelia. Lots of damage, but Ophelia actually did send back Wild Soul, so he's going to be fine. So Keizu did get the tower.
Yeah.
They used Polyward, so that's a favorable trade for Gary Johnson.
Yeah,
right
I was going to say it's one of those cases. I mean, sure, you lost a hero, but honestly, I think VOTE came on top there. The fact that they got the tower kill and Wild Soul was ported back to base, I mean, that seemed like it worked out fairly well. So again, VOTE here, 5,100 gold lead now, only 10 minutes into the game. That is their first tower kill of the game. They've just been very aggressive, though. You talked about Z-Freak. He may not have been the most aggressive farmer, really, in terms of getting creep kills, but hell, he's 1-1-3 now, so he's been involved in 4 of the. He was involved in the first 4 kills at least here for our Legion team, and slowing down a little bit here perhaps, but definitely doing some big work. Now you look over at Trademark Esports. Let's kind of break down their side a little bit here now. As Limp, obviously with the ward trap, setting up a kill there. He has now 290 gold per minute actually. He's trying to protect this middle tower push coming up from WildSoul, who will start to fall back. Meanwhile, the top lane. Oh, the dodge right there from Darkly. Charging strikes. Gets away from Swinmelons on Magnus, and Noob G will be fine. But meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Tempest and Bubbles pushing. A couple ports coming in, though. One from Magnus, one from Aluna. Is going to chase him down. The Ghost Marcher's activated. Ophelia coming in from the flank, though. Has a couple of Vagabonds here, actually. There's the Mana Burn. In comes the Vagabond leader Nuke as well, and Tempest will fall. Great catch right there. The Lava Surge. Level 4 stun right there, maximum range.
Yeah, it was funny to watch the Vagabond Mana Burning and the Vagabond leader to use the nuke. The tower gets denied on top of it. That was a huge exchange for Vote, and now they have the level 6 up on Ophelia, so that heal's going to do work. And let's check out Skyzo's farm right now. He's at 335 gold per minute, and is actually sitting down here in this bottom lane to push that. They already got the 2 towers down in the bottom lane. If they push this mid tower, I always talk about, too, that mid tower seems to be like the most important tower, the most beneficial to push anyway. So probably looking to take that mid tower here in the next couple minutes. But yeah, Ksu, he's farming well himself. Actually, top farmer in the game now, that I think about it, with 1 kill and a couple towers under his belt. So yeah, things are looking pretty good early on here for Gary Johnson. Still Swinmelon's kind of going a lot of build-up items, though, onto this Magnus. He's got his Bracer. He's got a completed power supply. I never really liked completing it. And also Mystic Vestments, a bottle. A lot of build-up items, so not going to have the earliest of portal keys, but still having a big impact.
Well, it kind of seems like that's more of a let's group up and push type build that he's going for. And you look at this Legion team, that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, they do it right there in the middle lane, as you talked about. So WildSoul, Torturer, Aluna, or not Aluna, but Ophelia, really. And on top of that, Magnus, I wonder if he's actually going to turn that Bracer into an Astrolabe, honestly. I mean, obviously, when you think of more of a group up and push, an Astrolabe can be very effective. But that usually you would think it's on Ophelia, but she doesn't have the makes of it, at least just yet. But here comes the push, or it's continuing, I should say. The top tower is going to be pushed in the meantime by Noob G, but the secondary middle tower already going down. It's 6,000 gold lead. They already have 4 towers killed to the 2 that they've lost. We are only now 13 minutes into this game, so very aggressive play coming out here from Vote in our Legion team.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to maybe flank this Dark Lady, but they do have a ward right there up at the top room placed by Minuts. It's going to fade, actually, but it'll give Noob G just a heads up about what's going on up in this jungle in his neck of the woods. But yeah, I don't expect really Astrolabe to be finished onto Smag. It seems kind of awkward. But yeah, I really don't like, completing the power supply, the upgraded power supply, simply because, I mean, look at his items. He's got all these build-up items, which is fine, but he's got no space for a blink, so he's going to have to obviously sell something. If he does end up selling that, then it's like, why would he upgrade it? Yeah. So it's just a nitpicky thing. It's not the end of the world. It is definitely formed to more of a group-style push early strategy, which is just nice. And, obviously they're benefiting from that.
Well, we see once again right here. I mean, the 4 of them are up here at the top lane. The only one not here is Torturer. This is going to be another tower kill. I mean, honestly, our Hellborn side and tdM, they'd be silly to even try to stop this at this point. So this tower is going to fall. Now, will they push the secondary tower as well? That's the big question, because that is the last outer tower that is remaining here for Trademark Esports already. We are now only 14 minutes in the game. There's a couple more pickups, by the way. Yeah. I believe was that a Sword of the High? Yeah. Oh, right. I mean, we're so used to seeing a Suicide WildSoul even still get a decent far, but this is a WildSoul that was in the short lane 1v1, had a great time. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Tablet of Command, going to save Torture right there. Trying to maybe turn it around with the port coming in, but actually the Glacial Blast coming out from Tempest stalled him. But yeah, I mean, this is just insane right now what's going on for Vote here in this game number 1. All across the board, things are going so well. Now, that's not to take away from Trademark. And again, they have their positives, definitely. 345 gold per minute right now on Polywalk Priest. And then you got just about 300 on Noob G playing this Dark Lady. So he is getting closer and closer to finishing that Rift Cleaver here. And then maybe that's the sign of course, starting to take off for him. But will they even have their base left at this point? And that's the big question, really. Yeah,
when you compare Dark Lady to like another hard carry, like maybe Draconis or Silhouette, I think Dark Lady, honestly, could do. You think that she's kind of useless without farm, but she's really not, especially with that ultimate. Now, Noob G actually doesn't have it just yet. I figured he would have leveled it there at level 9, seeing how they are kind of sitting back in their base and just getting kind of pushed on. What you see a lot of times is, if you get Initiate, and especially Polywalk, is going to have that blink up pretty soon, and then you have the Initiate from Bubbles as well with the Shell Serve. You go onto the person in the front, Dark Lady ults everybody behind him, and then they just can't see it. So basically a free kill on that person in the front. So Dark Lady actually does work without farm, but you see right there in the mid when we saw Torture get gone on, and then use that early tablet, a command to get away. That's just the farm coming into play very early on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, Gary Johnson's at a great spot. They still have an experience lead. I'm actually still surprised because of how much grouping they've done.
Yeah.
But still have that experience lead on top of the 6,500 gold lead.
Well, that's even more scary news for Trademark, the fact that they do have that lead on top of the massive gold lead despite grouping up and pushing some towers. So, again, all across the board, things looking very good for V0TE right now. But that's not to say tdM, they still have their chances because we are still very early on, only 16 minutes in. There's a first broadsword purchased by Dark Lady with that said. So, again, she's going to have a fairly early ruined cleaver here, despite these slower starts, especially at the top side, going up against that Magma Saluda and really a pseudo tri-lane with Ophelia occasionally coming over to set up gank. So V0TE for now has kind of calmed things down a little bit as far as just really aggressive push. I mean, again, there's still only that last outer tower left here at the top lane, as will take some minimal damage at least so far. But maybe going to wait for the next big item. I mean, 2,200 gold right now on Magnus, so he does have, in fact, there you go. There's the portal key purchase as he goes to the side shop. So he talked about he'll need to sell an item. Actually, he just doesn't have a homecoming stone anymore, so he won't be able to port at this time. But again, if he wants to buy one, though, he most likely will sell that power supply when you do look at the items he said. So it kind of goes back to that. There's the Maka Brilliance finish already on Keizu here, playing this Wild Soul. And on top of that, he actually he already has Ghost Marchers as well on his bear. So that bear is going to be so deadly here. Only 17 minutes into this game. And here we go. V0TE is going to group up as 5. And they are going to now push this top secondary tower, the final outer tower here for Trademark Esports. Yeah, there's actually a lot of warding coming out from tdM in their jungle. Yeah. Lots of sentries at least. But yeah, they need to push this top tower. I mean, Keizu is just farmed ridiculously. Top farm in the game, 430. They need to push this quickly. Kind of doning around like this is going to give TDL open up her farm. It's going to give them a chance to get back in this game. So they're kind of roaming around like here, don't really have a plan. But if they just group up, maybe they could even backdoor that, honestly. They can even just go right up there, attack the tower with Boo Boo sitting in front. Yeah. That's what they might do, actually. Yeah, with Boo Boo especially, with the items that he has, I mean, just really it doesn't make sense not to. I mean, you might as well. In fact, that's exactly what they're going to do. Just look at how quickly the tower falls. Who needs a creep wave when you have Boo Boo and Ophelia with their minion, with her minion? So there goes the last outer tower. We're not even 18 minutes into this game. There's already 6 tower kills for V0TE, and they are now pressuring the base. And here we go. Trademark Esports porting back. They know they have to hold this. They cannot be giving up base towers already. The Boo Boo will fall right there, actually. So Casey needs to be a little bit careful about that. He will have to use a cooldown. Another 110 seconds or so and counting before he'll be able to bring it back up. So make sure that he doesn't die. But I guess V0TE, that's what they're going for. Apply a little bit of damage, make them apply invulnerability, and then fall back and farm your next tier of items. So tdM, or yeah, Trademark Esports, they will have a little bit more time here as far as kind of recovering and getting bigger and better on Dark Lady specifically. But that clock is already ticking, man. Yeah, I feel like they should have farmed their camps just a little bit more and stayed up in the Hellborn jungle. Maybe even had Boo Boo just kind of push out lanes while they all sit up there. Because I mean, if you're doing that, where's the only place that tdM can farm? It's maybe the bottom lane. But even then, that's kind of risky. It's maybe bottom lane and then your Ancients, and that is it. That's the only place that tdM can farm. So if they just sat up here in the jungle, they could have just totally reduced the amount of farm that tdM got. Actually, action in the top lane, or top jungle, I should say. Z-Freak getting gone on. He might live. There's the Astrolabe. He actually has a heal himself. He might not even need to use it. Actually, here comes a haste to torture, but a blink out from Limp. So unfortunately, the wards are on cooldown from Limp, and Ophelia gets away. So an unsuccessful gank coming out from Limp. I love the patience there by Z-Freak. I thought for sure he was going to spam that R, because like you said, he had it off cooldown, but he realized he didn't need it. I mean, why use the cooldown if you don't need it? Make sure you can have it for a more appropriate situation. It's a 120-second cooldown, so definitely, decent 2 minutes right there. Might as well save it. You don't need it. So again, very well played by Z-Freak right there. And now V0TE is actually going to group up. They're going to go for Kongor. Swindamel's still pushing the middle lane somewhat, but now he's going to start falling back to join his team. Trademark Esports, you mentioned they had some decent awarding. I mean, they still have some decent awards up, but none around the Kongor pit currently. So Trademark Esports are completely in the blind right now, and they have no clue. Maybe somewhat of an idea, but even at this rate, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop it if they start heading over. So Magnus actually stunning in right there, maybe trying to kill something, but not get anything, just also setting himself up to jump in if need be. tdM kind of in the vicinity. I mean, Bubble's heading over, Tempest nearby. He has his own portal key now as well, by the way. But this Kongor will fall, and they'll have a token alive maybe on Torture here. No, actually, Wild Soul going to pick it up. So, yeah, things even getting better now for V0TE.
Yeah, actually, I think Torture should have taken it as well. Maybe even Mag. I don't know. I think Wild Soul is probably the last hero I wanted on because he is so tanky. He just kind of sits behind his bear. So, interesting decision right there to have the token up. But nonetheless, they have the token and got all the gold and experience. So, as a result, they're up 8,300 gold. That's a huge chunk of change for Gary Johnson this early on.
Look what they're doing, though. They actually just put the Mach on Wild Soul himself. He also has a bound eye, so I guess this is the idea that they gave him the token of life because they wanted to give him the Mach, actually, to farm with it. But the bear is currently back at base. I guess he's actually trying to finish farming his Soul's Bulwark, so maybe that's the ultimate goal right here. He's going to spawn him back to himself. In fact, there we go. The Mach is back on the bear. So looking a little bit too much into it, it's just simply the bear was being sent back, and he just wanted to farm himself. But yeah, with that said, I'm not too sure what the logic is as far as getting to Wild. So, but hey, they have a token of life nonetheless. So that's the good news. You are dealing with a couple portal keys here on the Hellborn side. Bubbles has another 1440 gold saved up himself, so possibly a portal key next in line for him. So we could very likely have 3 portal keys coming up here in the near future for tdM. And then on top of that, Dark Liddy, you know, she's well on her way to farming now that Abyssal Skull here. So again, they're buying enough time to at least start making a comeback in that sense. But both are kind of, you got to figure they're going to buy their next tier of items. There's a Soul's Bulwark, I believe, should be finishing on a Wild Soul. Is there anything else that stands out to you?
Full bottom, actually, Magnus in a lot of trouble. There comes the Tempest Ultimate. The Ophelia heal might save him, but no, it's just not enough. Minuts actually gets credit for the kill, so good job by Minuts. And, you know, sometimes using that solo hold can be a little bit risky, but found an opportunity and went for it.
Meantime, in the middle lane, the wards are down, pushing the tower up. Bubble's going to get caught outside. Will fall. Swindlemelon's obviously buying back right there to even help set up that kill. And just like that, a turnaround coming out for Vote. So yeah, just got the tail end of that bottom action, but Swindle buying back right away and involving himself in the middle kill. And now it looks like Vote is going to group up, and they want to maybe start pushing the base even a little bit more here, knowing that Bubbles is down for another 25 seconds.
I mean, that was just silly, especially for Limp to just place those wards there. I wasn't really watching what Zai was doing. Obviously got caught out of position. When you have 2 people bottom, even though they got a kill on the Magnus, even though Magnus bought out, that wasn't an issue. Had he not bought out, the same result would have happened, just maybe a little bit more delayed. And as a result, double damage on Wild Soul. So much damage on the defense tower, but they should not have been there in the mid at all.
Well, Trademark Esports is on their heels right now. Bubbles is up and ready to go, so they have all 5 ready to go. The melee racks taking a lot of damage. They do get a bottom tower kill in the meantime. Remember, Tempest Ultimate is down. They do not have the Tempest Ultimate because of that gank. Magnus going to set it right there. Minot's in a little bit of trouble. The follow-up not going to be enough. The power throw hitting, but just going to survive. You saw the cover of Darkness going off right there from Dark Liddy, and that may have done it in actually for Vote, but that has worn off now, so they got the melee racks. They even want more. They still want something out of this. They either with some range racks or even some hero kills, but Vote is going to finally start falling back and make their way, it looks like, towards the top lane actually. But not having that Tempest Ultimate right now is a big, big unfortunate circumstance here for Trademark Esports.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, they still made a good play. Like, Minus made a good play bottom. The only reason that, I mean, part of the reason why they pushed up there is because they, you know, Tempest Hold was down, but they would not have pushed it. They got didn't get the kill onto Bubbles, and also the ult from Polywire Priest is down. So yeah, again, you know, you have 2 people on your team bottom. You're pushing in the mid tower, the mid tower. That's the easiest one to access if you're that Legion side. And that was just such a silly decision. I really love the pickup by Big. I'm going to bust it out. Seal of approval coming out for Skyzo, actually, as he picks up that Berry Rifle. I was going to say that actually much earlier, and I think that's a fantastic pickup for them.
Yeah.
You can get a Shrunken Head, and I love Shrunken Head, don't get me wrong, but having that Berry Rifle on a push-oriented team this early on, very aggressive, I think it's just a perfect pickup.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, especially you got to figure earlier on in the game, you know, it even is that much more useful. So, yeah, huge pickup already. I think it's all across the board, though. There really are some impressive items here for Vote. Now, Magnus actually in a little bit of trouble. Magnus will fall right there.
Oh, my God.
He's stunned Dan, figuring it was just going to be enough to kill the Ancients with Aluna being there. But he didn't do the math correctly. So Swindlemelon's will fall. Now, that was, we sometimes see that and figure, oh, he did that on purpose. I guarantee you that was not on purpose. But, you know, again, he died. He's going to be down now for 30 seconds. And actually, Boo Boo's going to be picked off right here. This could actually turn into somewhat of a bigger deal. I mean, they're going to push a free tower now, you'd figure, especially with Magnus being dead here in the middle lane. And they also just got Booba killed. I mean, so in case we had to use a cooldown, they're going to get a tower out of this.
I mean, he technically could buy out again, right? I mean, he has one more buyout. They actually are going to use the glyph, so that should mean that they're going to fight here.
That's right. Nope, Deny is unsuccessful, and the tower goes down.
See, I never agree with that. Using glyph when you know you're not going to fight, it seems kind of silly to me.
Yeah.
Using glyph sets up just a lot of time. It makes the other team play a lot more passively, and then it makes them a lot more desperate to get the tower kill. And that's the best time to capitalize on fights like that or engagements like that.
Yeah, I'm actually curious on that topic of the glyph. You know, having the experience yourself. Is it usually a case, or what was it like for you? Was it usually a case if you had one assigned person to always using glyph, or was it just whoever was in that circumstance? Yeah, we see that. Oh my God, he is gonna die! The Tango goes off, and Boo Boo just tears Tempest a new one. Hold that thought for a second, because they are now pushing the top lane. Tempest does have buyback, but man, oh man, this is going to be huge here now for Vote. Tempest again, he has the buyback when he uses it. There he goes. They have a hole ready to go if they can catch Vote, but look at Vote. They're completely spread out. They're playing it very well right now. In comes the cuff up. There goes Fire Freeze. There comes Darkly. The Eruption going to be turned in the background. There's the Tempest ultimate. Logging out only torture left. Magnus stunts it with the Eruption, and the Hellborn team is falling apart. Tempest will go down. Polywall Priest being locked in the background. Dark Hoodie, I believe she bought back. Coming, no, she did not. Bubbles bought back, though. He's back in the fight. Dark Hoodie's still alive. Tears up Magnus right there. And actually, Trademark Esports may win this fight in the end. Casey's going to fall, it looks like. Oh, nice. Luna stunned. Dark Hoodie may be falling herself. No, she's not. Charging strikes. Picks up the double tap. Luna wants the kill. And Luna will not get the kill. Dark Hoodie finishes with a hat trick. And Trademark Esports holds off it for the most part. In the end, they save the racks. And they just, well, they take out Vote right there.
And Swindle bought back again. Like, what was the point of that? The entire team was dead. If you really think that you can buy out and walk that entire way and get right back in the team fight, like, I don't know. That was just a huge mistake by him. And if they know that right now, all they have to do is, you know, coordinate a push and kill him, and their base starts to die. So.
Yeah.
This is kind of slipping through, honestly, this is kind of slipping through Gary Johnson's fingers. And, you know, with the TDL that just has that much farm now, actually, not top farm in the game, that goes to Casey still, but top level in the game for sure. This is still, you know, within grasp for TDM to take this game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think the big thing, too, is, as you mentioned, they did have the TDL ulti on them, so I don't think Magnus could really see where Tempest was. And even though it was a solo ult from Tempest, it still could have been very beneficial to cancel that and have your Torture be, you know, an active member in that role or in that team fight. So.
Well, I'm looking at the hero damage right now. This actually surprises me a lot.
Wow, yeah.
Torture is last on his team, nearly last in the game.
That is surprising.
Torture is not a hero you would expect to be down there at all. You expect him to be near the top, if not the top. But
right.
Yes, Sky's here on Torture. He's had great farm. It seems like he's had a great impact, and for the most part for his team, I'm sure he's been obviously involved in the tower pushing. But when it comes to actually dealing damage, hasn't been the biggest. Oh, Bubble's going to get stunned right there, but the follow-up just on time. But yeah, going back to the last fight, though, I mean, we saw the power of Boo Boo right now, especially this early on. I mean, he doesn't have the demonic finish just yet, but at least he has the warp cleft on top of this Soul's Bulwark, and he is hitting very hard and very fast. So he just took out Tempest basically by himself. That was impressive, and it seems like Vote is going to do kind of a rinse and repeat right here. Maybe not make the same mistake twice. And obviously they know the Tempest ultimate is down right now for a little bit longer as well. So this could work out better for Vote when you look at it from that point of view. Again, just look at the racks already down half-life. Here goes the jump in the background. Limp will jump in on a Torture, locking him down again. They rush him in, channel in the background. Good eruption, a great eruption on top of the Hellborn team, doing a lot of damage right there. Torture will survive actually, and so far everyone's staying up. Dark Hoodie in the background though, the energy field wearing off right there, and Dark Hoodie will be bursted down. Dark Hoodie can buy back. He buys back right away. He now only has one more left after this, but that will be the only death, and that will be the end of it, or will it? Skyso now getting caught at himself, but a great counter from Magnus. A Trading Strike coming in for Dark Hoodie. They will finish off Torture, and Tempest actually still alive somehow as Magnus decided to run, as Dark Hoodie is now on the chase. She is level 16. She wants to get at least one more kill right here. Aluna may be that target. Void Talisman going to be activated though, and actually, no, the Hex coming in from Polywog, and Aluna will fall when it's all said and done. So again, Trademark Esports holds it off. Now the melee racks was destroyed, so that's good news for Vote. But this game, man, I mean, this game's getting really interesting now.
Lots of buybacks being used even before the 30-minute mark. Swindle has none. Zai has none. Minot's used one. Noobg used one as he needed to. But I just think that TDM went way too late. Like, they basically waited. They're like, oh, wait, hold on. Kill our racks and then we'll go. Okay, kill our... All right, now we'll go. That's like the exact opposite what you want to do. If they're going to kill your racks, just don't even fight. So you need to make a decision much faster. Either let them kill their racks or go in. Obviously, the correct decision, in my opinion, is don't let them kill the racks. Just jump them and kill them. Because I think they do have the means to take on a team fight.
Yeah. You see Swinner right there, curious about the radius. I wonder if he's even going to tell him. Probably not. There is a hero dex after all. You can just take it yourself. But it is 800 radius. So it's like, obviously, it's pretty much a full screen for the most part. Actually, I believe it is.
For what?
For his Dark Lady ultimate. Oh, for the cover of darkness. It's a fairly good amount. Anyways, yeah. So clearly, it's one of those things again. As we talk from time to time as a spectator, it's kind of hard for us to see, but no doubt it's having an impact in those fights. But again, this is continuing to be a very interesting game. Actually, Limp getting caught out right there, but he's able to Shrunken Head and run away. So granted, he will have to use a Shrunken Head cooldown, but he'll survive that as his second use of it. So he's down to 8 seconds now. Still plenty of time, but Trademark Esports, they're down 2 melee racks now. Obviously, so the middle and the top lane are going to be heavily pressured. In fact, while that fight was going on top, there was a little bit of push here in the middle lane. So it's going to be something now that Trademark Esports will constantly have to worry about and Vogue and capitalize on. But look at the experience now. It's now a 7,000 experience lead in favor of Trademark Esports. So we stressed that earlier, how impressive that was for Vogue to be in the lead of that as well as the massive gold lead. That's not happening anymore. And in fact, the gold has even gone down quite a bit. So sure, Vogue, you can argue, is still in the better spot, but tdM, no doubt, is holding their own. And definitely playing like a team that, well, just won DreamHack winner. So yeah. But Kongor are going to be dropping right here. Not going to drop too fast, though. And they'll start falling back. We'll see if either team initiates right here.
Yeah, they do have the bound die up on Osuna. He needs to be very careful about his positioning. Engineer is a fantastic support hero, especially as you get to the mid to late game. I mean, his spells are just so much better, in my opinion, than most supports like, you know, like your Glacius, like your Aluna.
Oh, and actually, KSU going to get caught over here. Talbot coming away. We got the eruption counter, though, coming in from that, but Dark Lady dropping quickly, and Dark Lady will fall right there. He can fight back, but it's his final buyback. The energy shield being played right there. Bubbles and Dark. The Tempest ultimate. That's a huge Tempest ultimate. Do they have the follow-up, though? Here comes the cover of Darkness. We see the Void Talisman being used. Bubbles will fall, though. Dark Lady finally joining the party. Gets going to Magnus. Going to go for Ophelia now. KSU is still alive. There's a kill on Ophelia. Dodges the chain reactions, actually. And now Aluna's being chased down, so Dark Lady's doing a lot of work right here. Will finish off Aluna. He's going to go for the quad kill. He'll get the Talbot away on his guys right there. And now KSU jumping in at Dark Lady. And he fall himself. They're trying to get the root right there. Nice Kex on Boo Boo. So we're not going to see the lucky entangle. And Dark Lady, oh, are we going to see the entangle? Are we going to see the entangle? No, turns around. Oh, and Dark Lady will fall right there. The root not even necessary. The bear is just too damn strong right now. And after that whole fight, I think Vote may be coming out on top here.
I think there's a reason why Wild Soul is so strong.
Jeez.
And I mean, tdM knows it. I mean, they love to pick that hero, and this was picked first out of the lock pool. And if I do remember correctly, I'll have to double check, but I think that tdM were the ones to lock Wild Soul. Just one thing to think about.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I think it was like the 3rd position. So yeah, I want to say yeah, he was.
I think I just remember making a mental note of they're in 2nd position, but they still locked Wild Soul. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. And it's doing work. I mean, KSU 9-1-3. It's a short lane Wild Soul, too. This is a little bit differently than when we see Wild Soul being played. Normally, he's always played as that suicide role, but, you know, when you have access to a Magnus, Luna, Ophelia, pseudo tri-lane up in the long lane, why not use that? So they did smartly. They had the Wild Soul, who got a kill on Desire in the short lane. I mean, that's not a question. I mean, you can easily do that with the Entangle. It does a lot of damage. You already have the advantage going up against the suicide bubble. So, I mean, yeah, Wild Soul doing work in the late game. They actually still quite even in experience, but, I mean, that fight was pretty big there for Gary Johnson.
I mean, think back to it, though. Minus on Tempest, he had a huge Tempest ultimate right there. It was a full duration. I want to see he had 3 heroes in it at least. Just Dark Lady, she just wasn't there. I mean, she just had bought back. If Dark Lady was there, that fight as a whole could have been so completely different. But she was not able to get there in time, and obviously as a result of that, that kind of snowballed as it seemed like they were still going to maybe make some good things happen. But KZ came back in on that Wild Soul and just tore Dark Lady a new one. So, yeah, Wild Soul really showing his power this game. It keeps going back to, as you talked about, I mean, this was a short lane Wild Soul. We're so used to seeing him suicide lane. And sure, he can eventually get to this point. He eventually just does, but it just happened a little bit earlier for him. And no doubt had a huge impact on this game right here. So what did he buy, by the way? I'm trying to find his bear. Okay, it's right next to him. Wow, he bought a Slayer and a Warhammer. So Savage Mace going to be in the works here. Just about finished, in fact, for KZU. On that Wild Soul, specifically Boo Boo. And they are going to go for Kongor now and commit to this one. And I believe they should be able to get it. Unless tdM wants to jump in pretty crazy here.
This is a scary thing, because now if Wild Soul gets his token, I actually think at this point maybe he should, because he can just, we might have a fight of Ruin here. Splintermelons is invis here as he opens up onto Dark Lady.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, the chain reaction is going to miss though. Polymer Priest jumps in. The Minotaur starting in the back row. Polymer Priest with their Shrunken Head. trying to do some work. There's the Tempest ultimate catching a couple right there, and Magnus cannot portal key in actually with Eruption. He's going to jump in, but the energy field's doing a lot of work, it looks like, and tdM's in a decent spot right now. Darkly is still looking pretty strong right here. She's going to chase, but again, look at Boo Boo, the damage from Boo Boo, the lockdown with the entangle, and Darkly will fall right there. Smackdown kill on top, down goes Bubbles, down goes Tempest, hat trick coming up for KZU, and tdM has had enough. Game number 1 will officially go to Gary Johnson 2012 here, the HoN Tour Qualifier Grand Finals.
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the very beginning, I think it came down, for that game, I think it came down to the drafting, honestly. On paper, having Magnus Luna plus that Ophelia, that in itself is so, like, how do you get that?
Yeah.
And, you know, I think their thinking at the very beginning was, you know, take Engineer away from the Magnus Engineer combination because it has been so popular, but I mean, it's strong, but so is Magnus Luna. And then you put Ophelia on top of that. Wild Soul in the short lane, Torture, who was actually a little bit quiet that game, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
had the lowest damage output, but still, the team composition in general was just superior, in my opinion, to tdM's.
Yeah. Man, I mean, so here we go. We got Vote taken out. Well, now the reigning DreamHack winner, 2012 champions, obviously coming off a high from that event, not even a week ago. But Gary Johnson, disappointing result for them at that event. They come back here, though, online in the HoN Tour qualifiers, and they win game number 1. Very deserving. You know, sure, obviously, you know, in a sense, they may have just outpicked them to an extent, but also I thought they outplayed them, and they played that very, very well, as you know, when we watched that game right there. So, Vote looking very good in game number 1. We'll see what kind of response, though. Trademark Esports has no doubt they're going to bring a strong one, and we'll see where they go from here. Of course, they're going to have the first pick this time around, so maybe change up some things, I'm sure. But, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 officially in the books. We'll be back. Game number 2 coming at you. tdM taking on Gary Johnson 2012.